I feel like this year most of the movies that I've seen have been, I don't want to say letdowns, but haven't been what I expected. I understand that we're in September now, so year's mostly over. I'm really hoping that at some point I get something that's everything that I thought it would be and or more. I'm talking about Speak No Evil, starring James McAvoy. But before we get into the review, you know what to do. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop the next reviews. It is a remake of a Danish film of the same name that came out 2 years ago. I haven't seen that film. I'm not one for dubbed films. I can't seem to get over the whole mouth not matching the words thing, so I don't tend to watch films that are not English spoken, like shot with English speaking people. And it's crazy because a lot of those movies are actually really good. I just, unless it's like a kung fu movie, I can't deal with the mouths not matching for too long because I'm so focused on all the small details in the frame and the composition and stuff like that. And so when I have to also try to read subtitles, for me, I'm missing a lot of the small details that I would have otherwise noticed in the frame. But anyway, I'm probably going to watch it because I hear that it's actually a lot more gruesome than the American made version with James McAvoy. Uh, that one is really not gruesome at all, except for one scene in the entire film. But this film is basically about an American family who has moved to London. They are vacationing, I want to say, in Italy. Husband, wife, and son. I'm sorry, husband, wife, and daughter. They're vacationing in Italy, and they meet James McAvoy's family. I think he goes by the name of Patty. Him, his wife, and his son. Anyway, so the two families meet, right? And right off the bat, and if you're a person with any type of sense or intelligence, right off the bat, when these two families meet, the family with the husband played by, I think his name is Scoot McNairy, his family, immediately you're like, what? Why would you do that? I mean, their decision making, first of all, understanding that it's a movie, right? But it's about the writing. Their family was making some of the stupidest decisions. I mean, stuff that just the entire movie you're like, why would you do that? I've never seen such poor decision making in my life. I think that this movie could have still been an amazing movie if you had allowed these people to make better decisions. So dumb it can't even be explained. But yeah, so they're vacationing in Italy, and the two families meet, and James McAvoy, his family, or he and the wife rather, the son doesn't do much because he can't speak. They charm Scoot McNairy's family and basically invite them to their countryside home in the middle of nowhere to stay with them for who knows how long. They don't even know these people, right? If I'm vacationing and I meet a family, I don't care how awesome you seem. I am not going to bring my family to stay at your random house in the middle of nowhere for any reason. We would have to be friends for like 2 years before I feel like I'm close enough with you to bring my family to your home in the middle of nowhere in the countryside of freaking Italy and have a little powwow. But I digress. So, with that in mind, the movie's a slow burn because I think the official runtime is an hour and 50 minutes. They take more like an hour and 30 minutes of that time setting up Patty's antics. So he's nice, 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 and then he's not so nice, not so nice. And then you start to kind of see certain activities and you're like, that's a little sketchy. And it gets worse and worse. I mean, from his mannerisms to his jokes to the way that he starts to treat his wife and kid, to the way that he starts to look at and talk to the other family, even his wife, the way she starts to talk to the daughter of the other family. As the movie progresses, things start to get more and more weird. One of the most amazing things about this, first of all, James McAvoy is a fantastic, I mean, really a world class actor. He is amazing in this film. Everything James McAvoy does. I mean, the fact that he was able to play all those characters in Split, that speaks volumes, right? So, but he's kind of up to that same thing. He plays Psycho so well. Another thing that I want to speak about is the trailers. The trailers for this film essentially give you the entire film. It really ruins a lot of the suspense that you would normally have. Now, I know a lot of people are starting to not watch trailers. See, for me, that's rough. I like to see the trailer so that I can know what it is that I'm getting into, at least somewhat. Because like I said, I mean, it seems like this year I'm getting a lot of movies that end up not being what I expected. But when I watch the trailer, at least I kind of know a little bit what it could be about, right? I don't want to, if the movie is actually good, then it's amazing that you went into it blind, you know? But if the movie turns out to not be that good and you go into it blind, then you're kind of going to be irritated with yourself. So I at least like to watch one trailer, but man, are the trailers giving away so much. Like, there's one thing, of course, no spoilers. There's one thing that occurs which everyone saw in the trailer. Each of the trailers that came out for this film, if I'm not mistaken, they all showed this one specific thing. So it's not a secret. When it comes up in the film, you're like, well, I already knew that. And to me, it's something that would have had much more of an impact if we had found that out in the film. I mean, they used it for one of the key parts of the trailer. So I really hate that they did that. I mean, like I said, when it came up, you already knew, so it wasn't surprising. It wasn't shocking. I like to take note of jump scares. There was one jump scare in this film. I mean, depending on who you are, maybe you might have more, but there was just one specific one that I think would have gotten anybody. It was well placed. It was out of nowhere. Now that I've seen the film, I feel like some people might be able to guess, and so it won't be effective for you, but it was effective. It worked for me. Sound design's really good. They did a good job making this film very suspenseful. And I'm sorry, getting back to the point that I was making earlier about them taking so long to actually set up James McAvoy and his craziness. It was so uneasy. It's like, imagine yourself in a setting with another family, and there's this one person that keeps saying some of the weirdest things you've ever heard, and you're kind of looking at them and then looking at everybody else like, is this not weird to y'all? Like, why are we sitting here listening to this? It's that kind of uneasiness, like that weird feeling, like being in a place and like you really want to leave, but you don't want to be rude, but you kind of don't want to be there anymore. It's like that. And so that worked out really well for the film, because James McAvoy's character is very unsettling in the back half of the film. You know, after we get past all of the pleasantries and all of the fakeness, and we get to him starting to show who he really is, it starts to get so uneasy. And again, some of these things we see in the trailer. For example, again, this is in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler. If you're someone who hasn't seen the trailer and doesn't want to watch trailers, then you can skip a few seconds forward. But with that in mind, why would you be watching the review if you don't like to watch trailers? Anyway, in the trailer, there's a scene where McAvoy is kissing Scoot McNairy's wife, well, hugging her to say goodbye, and he kisses her on the neck like 3 times. And the husband's just kind of like, that kind of uneasiness, like that weirdness, like, why are you doing that? He's so strange, but it works out so well for the type of movie that this is. Another thing that I want to note, When it comes to Scoot McNairy's character, like I said in the beginning, they were making some really stupid choices. I've never seen such a spineless husband. There again, trailer stuff. I'm gonna use trailer examples to kind of help with this. The scene in the trailer where his wife is saying she's a vegetarian, and James McAvoy's character is trying to feed her some meat. The husband's just like, mm. Pair that with the thing with McAvoy hugging his wife and then kissing her on the neck. Same thing. He's like, mm. Another thing. Again, this is in the trailer. McAvoy's wife tells Scoot's wife that she shouldn't be ashamed to put on a bathing suit because she has a nice body. And then McAvoy's character looks at her husband like, weird stuff like that. And like, that guy never says anything. You got one time, right? You got one time for me to be with my partner and you say something that makes her uncomfortable, or you try to get her to do something that you know she's against. I'm stepping in. Most of the terrible decisions in this movie were his fault, like her husband's fault. So many times they could have escaped this situation, and he's just like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, I don't see why not. Why shouldn't we stay? Craziness. Anyway, I overall enjoy the movie. Like I said, it's a slow burn. Definitely takes a while to get started. The juicy parts of the film are not until mid third act. But once it gets started at that point, it doesn't slow down. If it didn't take so doggone long to get started, which I understand because we have to establish that McAvoy is a psycho. That has to be established. Like, we need time to see him and this facade that he's put up, and then we need time to kind of unpack that and watch him gradually slip away from that and start to truly show who he really is. We do need time for that, right? But it still felt like it took a very long time. But anyway, be sure to jump down in the comments. Let me know if you've seen the movie. Do you intend to see it? Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop the next reviews. See y'all next time.